Hello everybody. So I finally finished my desk. It has taken me way longer than I thought it would, but it's done. It's done. Is it perfect? No. But we'll get into that in a minute. But I want to show you this awesome desk before we get into the rambly part of the video. The backstory on this desk is it is my grandma's, and she passed away when I was 9 years old, and this desk has been in our family for about 83 years. My mom thinks that when my grandma got it, it was used because, you know, back then my great-grandparents didn't have a lot of money, and my grandma needed a dresser and she wanted a desk. So this worked out perfectly for them because it is both. And to me, that just kind of is baffling because, you know, nowadays you want a desk and a dresser, you get a desk and a dresser, not a two-in-one kind of combo deal. So I thought that was kind of an interesting story. And, you know, while I was refinishing this, I learned a lot about doing furniture things. But before we get into that, so here is the inside. And I haven't really filled it up yet because, yeah, I just got it in here. And then this is a little door thing, and it's not perfect, and I have to kind of slowly open it, and then it's a little room. Now, you'll notice that I didn't stain the inside, that's the old color, and that's because I didn't want to take all that out because it looked like it would be difficult to do, so I just left the inside kind of natural, and I don't think it looks that bad, to be honest. But yeah. Okay, so the rambly part of this video. So I spent almost 2 weeks working on this desk, and is it perfect? No. I know there's a lot of mistakes, and you'll probably will be able to see them in the video. Alice is trying to take a nap, so if you hear her, I'm sorry. But yeah, so there's a lot of mistakes, and when I originally started sanding it, first of all, I've never done something like this before. I've got a lot of projects around my house that I'd be happy to show you if you want to see them, of things that I've repainted, but paint is very different than stain. Paint, you can cover up mistakes. You can cover up any, like, you know, errors that you had made. With stain, you make a little mistake on the wood, it's going to show. So this was definitely a learning experience, and I kind of wish that, you know, it wasn't my grandma's desk that I was learning with, but it is what it is. So when I started sanding it down, my mentality was like, oh, just get the loose stuff off first. Because when you're painting, you don't necessarily have to sand it down to bare wood. You just sand it to where it's not going to flake. So that's what I did the first time. And then I painted the top. Or I stained the top. And it looked awful. You could still see the, like, patches of the original stain. And it looked terrible. So I had to resand it. And the sanding paper that I had wasn't like a real coarse type. It was not meant for big projects. So I asked my dad. I said, hey, do you have anything a little bit stronger than this sandpaper? And he gave me a power tool, which, rule number 1 with Casey, you don't give her power tools. I am like the biggest ditz and can hurt myself with the dumbest things. But he's like, it's easy. You just turn it on and it vibrates. It doesn't do anything too crazy. Da da da. Okay. So I started and I had a dumb. I actually remember him telling me this years ago when he was, because I mean my parents have done this kind of stuff for my whole life. I remember him telling me years ago, you know, you have to keep it moving. You can't keep it still. You can't just hold it in one spot. Keep it moving. Well, I forgot to do that. And I don't know why, but my brain was just like, hold it in one spot for a minute. So there's a bunch of little swirly swirls. I did manage to get most of them out, but it took forever. And then what ended up happening, because it was so coarse, that like this drawer is a lot rougher than like these drawers. I tried to smooth them out, and then, you know, I put the top coat on, and, you know, that helped a lot. But there's still some roughness like in this, but it is what it is at this point. I ended up running out of stain, and of course, you know, and if I had just an ounce more patience, you know, I could have just waited until I either ordered some more or Chris found it at a different store. Because the day that I was trying to finish this up, I was like, I told him, I said, can you pick me up some more stain? And I showed him the color that I had. I had every other color but the one I needed. So I was like, forget it. I'm just going to work with what I got. And that's part of the other reason why the complete inside isn't all the way stained. But again, I didn't know how to take all that out without completely ripping like the back off and then pulling out the shelves. But to me, it wasn't worth doing all of that. The inside is still in great condition. It was just the front that was kind of messed up. I don't know if I actually took any pictures of it before I started staining. If I did, I'll include it in here as like a before and after kind of thing. But I think, and I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist because I'm not, but I'm really hard on myself when I do projects. Because I want them to look not like someone just threw some paint on it and called it good. I want it to look good. And I will beat myself up over the dumbest little imperfection. So while I was doing this desk, I was getting so upset with myself. Because in my mind, if this wasn't my grandma's desk, first of all, I probably wouldn't have it to begin with. Because, I mean, this desk, I don't know what I'm going to be using it for other than the fact that I wanted it. If it wasn't for this desk, or if it wasn't for this being my grandma's desk, I would have painted it multiple colors, just random, like shabby chic type of thing. But because it was my grandma's, I wanted to restore it. And that's one of the funniest things, because I think I mentioned it before. I had a blog. It was DIY or Don't. And I took old crappy furniture and I would paint it. And sometimes it was real wood things. Most of the time it was particle board nonsense. But sometimes, very few times, there was something that was real wood. And oh my God, people would get so upset with me. They're like, oh, why wouldn't you just restore it? I didn't want to. I wanted it to look like this. So when I got this, I think my mom was a little nervous giving it to me because I think she thought I was going to go crazy and shabby chic it. She said she didn't care, but I feel like she probably would have. But I wanted to restore it, and I wanted it to look like the antique that it is, you know? So, and not having any experience sanding and staining, I felt like I was over my head. And I was getting so upset because I had it in my head that this had to be perfect to make my grandma proud. Again, like I said, I lost her when I was 9 years old, and she was the only grandma that I knew. And as I'm doing this, I'm getting emotional. As I was staining this, I'm like, everything I did, I wanted my grandma to be proud. Even when I did the little fairy door thing, I was like, ugh, I don't know if she would have liked this, because she was a very straightforward, not really into mystical things. So I didn't want to be, struck by lightning or anything. So when I was doing the fairy door, I'm like, it's okay, Grandma, it's just for fun, the whole time. And I really was upset the whole time because I was like, I want to make my grandma proud. But then as I'm doing this desk, I'm like going through all my memories of her, which aren't very many, unfortunately. And I remember she used to get so proud when I would lose a tooth. You know? It was like there wasn't anything that I did when I was a kid that she wasn't proud of. And she was always super happy about anything that I did. So I was like, I had to remind myself, she's not going to care that there's swirly marks in it. She's just going to be happy that I have it and that I love it as much as I do. So I didn't intend to cry. So it's been an emotional journey, to say the least. But I'm super happy with how it came out. And I have some ideas of what I'm going to use it for, which you'll see in later videos. But I've been talking about this in my Facebook, Instagram stories for weeks. I'm saying, it's almost done, it's almost done. I'm going to get a video out on it, so it's done. Here's the video. I hope you enjoy. And now that I've cried for no good reason, please remember to subscribe if you're not subscribed, and if you're on Facebook, make sure you're following the page, because I post random videos all the time. I'm not just a one channel type of person. I want to dabble in all the things. I want to ramble, I want to talk about books, I want to play games, I want to cook, I want to do all the things, and I hope you enjoy all the randomness. Yeah, so make sure that you leave a comment down below letting me know what you think of the channel. And yeah, do all the things. Share. I'm on all the social media things, so look for Random Reads. It's probably there. And I will see you on the next one. Have a random day.